Be here with you this afternoon where I am. I am the manager of innovative products and services at Vermont Gas. I've been in this role since 2020. We are, you can move the slide forward if that's okay. Just to let you know where we're at, we are in Vermont, as is evident in our title, which is a tiny northern New England state. And you can move the slide forward again if that works. So next one, please. I put this in here just to show you that our weather is primarily cold and awful. I'm a little bit biased against the cold. Right now we have this blissful summer day where it's 90 and humid, which is my favorite. I can't say I speak for all Vermont residents, but long story short, our weather here runs the gamut. So the heating and cooling equipment that we install also has to be able to perform under a variety of conditions. You can move the slide forward. Historically, our state has been, I would say, fairly progressive when it comes to environmental issues. So my gas utility operates in an environment where our state legislature passed the Global Warming Solutions Act back in 2020. This created a legally binding emission reduction series of requirements. And the way it's set up today is that a Vermont state resident could technically sue the state for not reaching its climate goals. So very progressive, a little quirky. The overarching climate goal is to be at 80% below 1990 emissions levels by 2050, with a series of kind of points along that way, markers along that way to show that we're making progress. Next slide, please. Here we are. So we're a very small company compared to a lot of the other utilities on the line. We've got around 140, 150 employees. We serve 56,000 customers. We only serve customers in the northwestern corner of the state because it's the most populated area. Everybody else in the state uses very expensive fuel oil, propane. They also use wood, which is cheaper, but can be quite labor intensive. We're seeing more and more people switching to electric home heating sources. Over time, they aren't using them today to fully supplement their fossil fuel heating systems. But they're on their way there, and there's a huge push in the state for home and business electrification to play a significant role in achieving those climate goals that I cited previously. So our utility had plans for geographic expansion up until about a decade ago. We were thinking that we'd, just kind of spread our wings out into the rest of the state. But there was pretty significant consumer pushback. And in 2019, we shared in official documents that we had no plans to undertake any broad infrastructure growth in the future. And we're anticipating that over time, given the state's climate goals and the fact that they're relying on electrification to achieve them, our customers will decrease. So as our customers move away from natural gas, a big concern is that the customers who are left on natural gas will most likely be the customers who have been least able to afford to electrify their homes and businesses. It'll cost more money to support the natural gas infrastructure. That cost will fall to fewer and fewer customers to cover. And we really want to do our best to avoid that sort of scenario. You can switch slides. So we're a fairly young utility. So our infrastructure is pretty modern. We just got started in the 1960s. And then this is a quick slide. I'll move through it fast, even though it looks a little dense. But in the 90s, we started our own in-house energy efficiency program, doing home and business energy audits, incentivizing and offering rebates for natural gas equipment. That has continued to perform really well, and we've kept it in-house this whole time. and it's a great way for building relationships with our customers. And then skipping ahead a bit in the teens, we started introducing renewable natural gas into our pipeline. We do buy renewable natural gas from out of state, but we also have our second farm about to come online, providing renewable natural gas directly into our pipeline. And then around the time I started, we started exploring offering our customers heat pumps. And each year we introduce so far a new heat pump type. And yeah, I think we can switch to the next slide. There we go. There are our folks. So unlike most all gas utilities operating today, Vermont Gas has our own in-house service and installation team. It's a pretty old school gas utility model that most gas utilities either had to stop or chose to stop in the 90s. We kept going with it, and it's kind of what's old has become new again. So back when we started in the 60s, we were leasing, selling, installing, servicing natural gas equipment, and we never stopped doing that. And because we never stopped, as the customer's needs changed, it's made sense for us to add in this heat pump equipment so we can offer customers a full roster of equipment meeting any need they might have. And because we have no intention of expanding the natural gas infrastructure, services like these are really, our biggest path to gaining new customers as we move into the future. Also interesting and pretty unique compared to other utilities, our regulators in the state have allowed us to do, a couple of unconventional things. The first is profits that we earn through selling heat pumps, heat pump water heaters in the case today. Those profits get folded back into the same pot of natural gas utility profits. So through this, the thinking is we're able to stabilize gas rates as the number of our customers decrease. And second, we're permitted to serve customers living within 5 miles of our pipeline with heat pumps today. And we're looking to sort of nudge further and further. So we have no plans to extend our natural gas infrastructure. We can sort of expand our geographical footprint without doing that through offering these services. And offering these services, obviously, to customers who today aren't using natural gas, which is relatively inexpensive here compared to electricity. Customers who don't have access to our pipeline are reliant on fuel oil and propane, so you can really make a strong argument for cost effectiveness by switching to heat pumps. So it's a good market for us to grow into, one where there's a huge state push for heat pumps, but a contractor shortage to actually do the work. So we're not viewed as sort of aggressive competitors coming into other people's turf. We're more viewed as we're in desperate need of contractors. No contractors can meet the demand as it exists today. So we're, instead of like, I don't know, we're kind of making the pie bigger, I guess. Next slide, please. So our heat pump water heater program began in 2022. It was our first sort of, I don't know, it's where we first started dabbling in installing and servicing heat pumps. We only offer the NEEA Tier 4 heat pump water heaters. We want the models we offer to be eligible for the full incentives or rebate amounts provided in the state. There's a link, I don't know if it'll work, underneath the illustration here. If you want to click on it real fast, you can, but if it doesn't work, nope, that's not it. All right, forget it, but it's there. So when the slides are shared afterwards, I encourage folks to do a copy paste, because what we've done is that we were concerned that with electricity costing more than natural gas here in Vermont, we would install heat pumps for customers, and then their bills would go up for thermal energy overall, and they'd be irritated by us. So we've put a slew of 3 separate calculators on our website that let people run cost comparisons of fuel oil switching to electric and natural gas switching to electric on our website. And when we're in the sales process with them, we share this with them. And heat pump water heaters and natural gas water heaters tend to be pretty cost comparable to own and operate in our territory with the rates that we charge customers today. When we get into other heat pump options, air source heat pumps, ductless and mini split, that cost discrepancy can grow. And we want to be as transparent about that as possible. And wherever we can, we also want to share the carbon impact a customer is having. So if a customer is making these upgrades based on a desire to decarbonize, they'll be able to see that it might cost them a little bit more to operate an electric heat pump than it would to utilize natural gas. But as far as carbon saving measures go, it's a pretty inexpensive carbon saving measure compared to their alternatives. If they were to, say, buy an electric vehicle would be an example. You can move to the next slide. So interestingly, for this group, I think, is Vermont Gas doesn't offer rebates or claim energy savings for the heat pumps we offer. We sell and lease them and service them. So our motivation here is really to act as an HVAC company and earn profits like an HVAC company. But we do partner with the state's electric efficiency programs. They're provided through Efficiency Vermont, and they're provided through Burlington Electric Department. Their rebates are here underneath their logos, and we incorporate all their rebates into our prices. So the customer should never have to worry about filling out forms or waiting for a check to arrive. Also, as with many midstream incentives in Vermont as well, the contractor has the option to not pass the full rebate amount along to the customer when it's midstream, but we do pass the full rebate along to the customer, and we keep it as transparent as possible. So we think this provides for a better customer experience. And then once a month, we share the list of installations that have occurred over the previous month with our partners at Burlington Electric and Efficiency Vermont, and they cut us a check to reimburse us for the rebates we fronted to the customer. Another thing worth adding is that it's not on this slide, but we also still sell and lease natural gas hot water heating equipment. But once the rebates are factored in, the natural gas equipment and the heat pump water heater equipment, the sale and lease cost, especially in Burlington where the rebates are higher, tend to be comparable. So the aim there is to make that initial upfront cost not so much a financial decision. It's going to be based on other factors. But we didn't want the financial piece to get in the way of people with going with heat pump water heaters. Okay, next slide. So these are our numbers today, and about 15% of all the water heaters we lease or sell are heat pump water heaters. We're aiming to continually grow this percentage in coming years, but it's an old New England state, so we have a lot of old housing stock. We encounter a lot of homes that either don't have basements or they have really low ceilinged basements where a heat pump water heater isn't going to be accommodated. We also have a lot of really old electric panels. So we encounter electric panel constraints when we go to install heat pump water heaters. Heat pumps in general, I would say heat pump water heaters don't require quite as much, but we encounter a lot of 100-watt panels that are at capacity, and then you have to factor in the cost of upgrading a panel and potentially upgrading service to the house, and that can be a deal killer. As we see the number of all electric homes slowly, very slowly, but it's growing. We're seeing a lot of these homes struggling to stay warm on the coldest days. These are primarily new construction homes that we're seeing go all electric. And electric bills can be higher than anticipated. And then there's the concern that the additional pull of heat that a heat pump water heater requires can be pulling from the electric heat that's being provided through an air source heat pump primarily here right now. And that can provide for an unpleasant customer experience. So we want to avoid that. With all of our electrification efforts, we want to make sure our customers having a great experience and is eager to continue to electrify. Next slide, and I'll be done. So all that said, we think there's significant potential to grow the number of customers adopting heat pump water heaters for their homes. And the way that our gas utility sees it is our customers' energy needs are gonna and wants are gonna continue to evolve. And installing, selling, leasing, servicing heat pumps, heat pump water heaters is a way for us to position ourselves to continue to be their preferred thermal service provider, not just specific to natural gas, long into the future. And then I think the final slide is just me and my contact information. If anybody wants to have a more in-depth discussion with me about any of this, I would encourage you to reach out. I'm happy to chat anytime. And that's all.
Thank you so much, Morgan, for this wonderful presentation. Does anyone have any pressing question that I can take up now, or we could move forward to the next presentation and have all the questions towards the end in the discussion round? You can also use the chat to put your questions. That's good. I'll move on to the next presentation. Morgan, we can take this up towards the end of the discussion.
Great.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite my next presenter, Jon Clark from NEEA, to give us an overview about the retail products platform. Over to you, Jon.
Thanks, Vidisha. Nice presentation, Morgan. That was interesting. I don't work much in water heating, but found that very interesting. So thank you. So good morning to some of you and good afternoon to the rest of you. My name is Jon Clark. I'm a strategic account manager with NEEA. And I don't recall exactly how Vidisha found out about the program that I'm going to talk about, but I'm glad she did. And when I heard it was AWHI, I hear so many good things about the work that this group has done within NEEA that I was I'm honored to be able to present this this program to you. I see one of my colleagues was on here, Neil Grigsby, also with NEEA. So I'm going to walk you through this platform, this program, but I just want to give you set some expectation. This program was designed for the retail channel, and it grew up around consumer electronics and home appliances. We just recently added heat pump water heaters, which we'll talk about. So a lot of what you see is unlike a lot of water heating specific programs, and I'm happy to answer questions as we go or talk to you in the future about this. Next slide, please, Vidisha. So a quick commercial before we jump in. I want to tell you a bit about NEEA. So NEEA, we were established in 1996. We are an alliance of over 140 utilities based in Washington, Oregon, Montana, and Idaho. These utilities collectively serve over 13 million energy customers. Over the last 25 years, NEEA has developed a proven market transformation framework built on data, technical expertise, and reciprocal, long-lasting relationships with the region and national market actors and organizations. NEEA's focus is on energy efficiency, and since our inception, we have saved enough electricity to power over 500,000 homes each year. We're pretty proud of that. So NEEA has been a program sponsor with the ESRPP, which I'll tell you about here in a minute. We've been a sponsor since the program was launched over 10 years ago. About 3 years ago, NEEA took over the facilitation of this program from Energy Star. So we facilitate the program. We do not implement it, but we facilitate the program and coordinate meetings. And we are also a sponsor as well. Next slide, please. So what's so great about the Energy Star RPP? Probably the other caveat I should give you is we are fully aware of the current issues and funding, all the stuff that's going on with EPA and potential impacts on Energy Star. We can talk about that after. But what I'm going to show you is how the program is, its current state and how it got to where it is. The future of Energy Star, yeah, can put a lot of these things in question. We're fully aware of that, and I'm happy to talk to you about that. So the ESRPP program was launched in 2015. and early iterations go back as far as 2010. The ESRPP program was developed because many of the easier savings opportunities in the residential space were drying up. Think lighting is going away. But there are still big energy efficiency targets in the residential space that needed to be achieved. So the ESRPP is built on a valuable market collaboration with EPA and the Energy Star program. We work with dominant national retailers, and we have program sponsors from all across the country. It's a cost-effective and efficient midstream. We'll talk a bit more about that in a second. Midstream market transformation program. And the product portfolio includes most of the big energy efficiency categories currently available in the consumer product space, so consumer electronics and home appliances. It's a nationally coordinated effort, yet it's flexible enough and supports both organizations that are interested in market transformation programs, as well as sponsors who are running resource acquisition programs. And lastly, and I think most importantly for us and the sponsors in this program, is the retailers provide us full category sales data that we use to gain critical insights into the individual product markets. And access to this level of data, I believe, is unique to the ESRPP. So when I say full category data, the participants, the retailer participants, which I'll show you in a moment, they will send us for water heating, for example. We get the entire sales, their entire sales for the water heating category, not just heat pump water heaters. So it gives us really good insight into how heat pump water heaters and how the rest of the water heating business looks in retail. And finally, about RPP, it's been evaluated, successfully evaluated by 3 separate third-party evaluators. So yeah, it's got a proven track record. Next slide. So with that, we'll go into the details. You can go to the next slide here. So this is an overview of what this program looks like today. So currently, we have 17 program sponsors across 15 states. They represent, those 17 sponsors provide energy to about 30% of the US households. We are currently partnered with 4 national retailers: Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, and Nationwide. Nationwide is a buying group that represents the independent retailers. So think of the smaller mom and pop or 2-3 store chain retailers. They've got about 5,500 members across the US. So collectively they're big, even though they're a company that not many people have heard of. And we are currently incentivizing 11 product categories. Next slide, please. Here are the sponsors in the program today. We have, you can read the list there. NYSERDA, NEEA, ComEd, Dominion Energy. The ones I'm going to point out on this list are the ones that are currently incentivizing heat pump water heaters, and we'll go into a bit more detail in a minute. But NEEA, ComEd, the Empower Maryland Group, SMUD, and Indiana Michigan Power are in the program supporting heat pump water heaters currently. So we've got a pretty good collaboration there supporting water heating. Next slide, please. Visually, everybody had a map. This is pretty cool. So here's our map for the program, and that indicates the states of coverage and where the program is active. The bubbles there align with the number of stores and the different the 4 retailers that participate. Are there any questions so far? And Vidisha, if you see something in chat, please let me know if you don't mind.
Sure, John.
Thank you. Okay, next slide. All right, so let me see my notes here. So the ESRPP incentive structure it's called the Energy Star program because the incentive tiers that we work with are based on Energy Star. The Energy Star is generally the basic tier for the program, and we have another slide to add some more clarity. And then we also have a second tier, an advanced tier, that is often the Energy Star most efficient. I don't know how the Energy Star tiers work specific to water heating at the moment, so I don't know if there's a most efficient version. But that's the program tiers, basic and advanced, are built around Energy Star for the most part. The program sponsors set their own incentive levels, meaning while we all align on the product categories, all the sponsors, and we align on the tier levels, the basic and advanced tier of Energy Star. After that, the per unit incentive is up to the individual sponsor. And the incentives are discretionary. So I wanted to talk a bit about this. So this is a midstream program in our terminology that is focused on the retailers, and the incentives go to the retailers to influence them to do something. So this is not a pass through to the end consumer. This is not a buy down program. It's not required that it's a buy down program. What we mean by discretionary incentives is we give this money to the retailers with the goal and the intent that they sell more of the incentivized product. The leap of faith here is that we believe in this program, we believe that these retailers know better how to spend those incentive dollars to achieve that goal of selling more product. It might be a markdown, it might be an extra ad, it might be a sales contest. It can be, there's many, many levers that retailers have to sell product. So we made the leap to say, you pull whatever lever you want, you invest these incentive dollars as you like. And that's our goal here. Next slide, please. So here is our current portfolio for 2025. Our program year starts April 1st. So we've got clothes dryers, washers, the all-in-one washer dryer combos, freezers, refrigerators, room air conditioners, air cleaners, residential electric cooking, which is effectively induction, connected thermostats. And then we added for this year televisions. Unfortunately, we had to put those on hold, so put those aside for a minute, and heat pump water heaters. So for those of you, you probably know this, but just so we're on the same page. In water heating, so this is not heat pump water heater specific, but in water heating, the retail channel sells almost half of all of the water heaters, residential water heaters in the US. The other half go through the wholesale channel, plumbers and the trades. So the retail channel is significant in terms of volume and creating awareness and influence in what happens in the water heating space. So we were very excited to get heat pump water heaters in the program. And then just kind of backtracking a bit on terms of my personal introduction. I'm a strategic account manager with NEEA. Prior to that, I spent a number of years with the running the water heater business for the largest retailer of water heating at the time, was Sears. And I also introduced heat pump water heaters into the retail channel. So I'm very fond and familiar with this category. So it's kind of come full circle that I'm working with heat pump water heaters again. So excited about that. Let's see. I think what's important here to call out is again, the 4 national retail partners in this program are Best Buy Nationwide, Lowe's, and Home Depot. So in the retail water heater channel, Lowe's and Home Depot represent, I've heard numbers from 80 to as high as 90%. So let's go with 80%. Lowe's and Home Depot, those 2 companies who are our partners, sell almost 80% of the water heaters that go through the retail channel. So we have the dominant 800-pound gorillas in retail water heating business in this program, and we are getting full category sales data from them in that. So that's really exciting, and we're looking to see how we leverage that into some good things to advance heat pump water heating. Any questions so far?
I think we can move forward, John.
Okay, next slide then. So what are the Lowe's and Home Depot for water heating? What are they required to do? So they're required to provide the program full category sales data on a monthly basis. In order for us as sponsors to understand how they're investing their incentive dollars, those retailers do a quarterly presentation to the sponsors, showing how they're supporting the program and what they're doing internally to drive sales. And then they participate in annual evaluations where we sit down with the merchants and other decision makers within the corporate office to see how the program is going. Next slide. So as a sponsor, we are all using the same legal agreement. That just makes things efficient and easy to work. It initially seems to be a hurdle for new program sponsors, but once they read the document and review from legal, everybody signs it. So we've had no problem with that. As I mentioned, we as sponsors all align on product categories and tiers. And we also participate, the sponsors participate in a monthly governance call. It's an hour-long call to see how things are going and how we can make the program better or address any issues that come up. And we all adhere to a common set of data confidentiality requirements to protect the retailer data and ensure anonymity as outlined in the program. And then we pay our incentives on a monthly basis as well. The next slide. Contracting. So this just gives you a sense of like how this program works. So if your organization were interested in participating for water heating or for any of the product categories for that matter, you would sign that universal agreement. Your organization with each of the retailers would use that agreement. So that's one. You can bring any implementer partner that you have to help you administer this program and manage the data. There are a couple big implementers that are part of the program currently. Clear Result, ICF, Energy Solutions are all implementers working with various clients as part of this program. There are no contracts between Energy Star or EPA for this. So we're using the Energy Star brand effectively as a brand and something for us to rally around. And then the last slide are just the kind of a summary of the benefits. So this program has been around for a while. So we've got established long-running relationships with corporate headquartered decision makers, which is really important. So we're not working with individual stores, store staff and store managers and trying to get change one store at a time. We're working with corporate decision. So when the corporate decision makers decide to make a change in a product category, let's say for instance, we wanted them to update their in-store signing on heat pump water heaters. I'm totally making this up. If they agree to do that, that change happens across the country to all the stores. So we don't have to go in one at a time and try to change those signs. So there's a benefit of scale there. It's a turnkey program. It's been running for a while. It's got well-established processes. So it's really easy for a sponsor to get in. It's pretty light lift from what I understand with our partners, the program managers from the different sponsors that run the program. This thing runs in a pretty much an automated fashion. There's a lot of ability to influence and change things. So you're not locked in, but it can run very smoothly and very simply. And it's open to any sponsor and implementer company who's. And that is the conclusion. My next slide has my name and email. And as Morgan mentioned, I am also happy to chat in much more detail about this program directly or with Vidisha. Reach out however you'd like.
Thank you so much for your presentation, John. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'll just stop the recording.